Okay, today let's talk about the distance formula. Now, in order to understand the distance formula, we're going to need to understand dirt. Okay, not that kind of dirt. There we go, that's better. So we're going to need to understand this equation in order to fully understand how to calculate distance. In this equation, d is going to represent the distance traveled. R is going to represent the rate or the speed that an object is traveling. And the t represents the time that it has been traveling for. Okay, now usually when we talk about the speed and the distance of something, these are usually positive numbers, but what about if in the scenario that we're talking about where we want to know where a car has been and where it's going, we want to know locations. In this situation, direction matters. So we're actually going to assign positive and negative speeds based on which direction is he going and where will he be. If he's going to the right, then this is going to be heading in the positive direction. If he's going to the left, that will be in the negative direction. So his speed could either be positive or negative, depending on which direction he's going. And his location, his distance, could be, in the end, a positive or a negative number, depending on where he's gone. So let's take this for example. If a car is traveling at 30 miles per hour, well, where is it going to be in 2 hours? In order to answer this, first we need to use our dirt equation. Alright, now, we still don't know the distance, that's what we're trying to find out. We do know that the rate was 30 miles per hour, and we want to know where is it going to be in 2 hours. Okay, so the rate 30 times 2, 30 times 2, he's going to be 60 miles in this direction. Now let's switch that up. And now let's look at that second question. Rather than focusing in on where will it be in 2 hours, where has it been? Well, if he's heading in this direction, then what we know is where he's been is clear back here. So we do know that our distance is going to be a negative 1. Let's see how that plays out with our equation. So we've got our distance, the rate is going to be, once again, 30 miles per hour, but we want to know 3 hours ago. Since it's in the past, then that's a negative 3. Well, a 30 times a 3 we know is going to be 90, and we know it's going to be over here in the negatives, so this is a negative 90. His distance is going to be in the negative direction, 90 miles. Let's look at another one. Okay, similar idea. Car is traveling 40 miles per hour. Where will it be in 1.5 hours? So, just once again, let's use our distance formula. So, distance is rate times time. Now, we still don't know the distance. We're looking for it. So, the rate we know is 40 miles per hour. The time in this situation, so 1.5 or 1.5, however you're most comfortable writing that. So 40 times 1.5 is going to be 60 miles. So we know he's going to have headed in this direction, and then after 1.5 hours, he'll be right there. Okay, now let's look at that second equation. Now we want to know where will it be a half hour ago. Our speed is still 40 miles per hour. The time, however, since we're talking about the past, is going to be a negative. I also know, because I'm looking for where will he have been, I know that we're going to be somewhere over here in the negative distances, because he's heading forward, so in the past he's going to be behind there. So 40 times the negative a half will be negative 20. By thinking about whether or not the distance should be a positive or a negative, we can make sure we're checking whether or not we're doing this multiplication with negatives properly. Let's do one more. Okay, so now we see our traveler is going in the opposite direction. He is now going to the west. So he's traveling at negative 35 miles per hour. So in our equation, that means that r is going to be a negative rate because he's heading in our backwards direction. Time for this first one is just 2 hours into the future. Okay, so if he's heading in this direction, 2 hours into the future, he's going to be even further over here. Which means I definitely know this is going to come out negative. So 2 times 35, I'm going to have that negative 70. And negative 35 times a 2, negative 70 miles. One more time. And we've got that our rate is still that negative 35 miles per hour. If we're asking 3 hours ago, then that's a negative 3. So he's heading in the negative direction, but we want to know where he's been, which means it must be over there in the positives. So negative 35 times by a negative 3 is going to be 105 miles in the positive direction. He was 105 miles to the right 3 hours ago. This is how we can use distance formula to figure out where people have been, where they're going, so that we can know locations, predict where they will be, predict where traffic might get heavy. Thank you for listening.